My name's Gavin. I am a poet and a musician and a storyteller, and I'm going to share some musical instruments I've picked up on my travels around the world and some stories with you guys today. This one is from Europe. It's from a country in Europe that starts with an I. Not Italy, Ireland. Okay, so this drum comes from Ireland and it's called a bodhrán. But I'm going to play it to you and I'm going to use different techniques, like Irish techniques and African techniques, and also some techniques from North Africa and the Middle East, where they call it the duff. So you guys like to hear this? No. Okay. Maybe you can help me with rhythm a bit. Bit faster. And faster. A long time ago in Nigeria, amongst the Igbo people, there lived a potter, and he'd spend all his time on his potter's wheel making his pots and plates and jugs. And one day he made a vase or a pot like this, and it came out and it had a hole in it, an extra hole. And he thought, that's not going to be much use. So he put it away on a shelf somewhere and he didn't think about it. Then one day a friend of his came to visit, and that friend was a musician. He said, "Oh, that looks interesting. Could I try it out?" And the guy said, sure, go ahead. So he takes it down. So it became known as the Udu drum, and Udu is just the Igbo word for a pot. And this drum became popular all around West Africa, and you can hear it played in a lot of countries there today. So the first story that I would like to tell you today also comes from West Africa, and the story is called A Blind Man Catches a Bird. The hunter looked at the two birds and he thought, I like the bird that the blind man caught. I think those feathers would make a nice present for my wife. And so he walked up to his trap, took out the small grey bird he had caught, gave it to the blind man. Here, this is the bird you caught. Then going to the trap the blind man had set, he took that beautiful, colourful bird and put it back into his own pouch. They turned and began to walk home. Now, as they were walking along, the hunter turned to the blind man and said, "Tell me this, if you know so much, why is it that there is so much war, so much argument, so much fighting in this world?" And the blind man replied, "Well, there are many reasons for this, but surely one of them is because there are men like you in this world who take what does not belong to them." The hunter, he felt so ashamed. He tried to think of something to say, but he couldn't think of anything to say. Eventually, he apologized and he gave the beautiful, colorful bird back to the blind man. Now, this comes from a country in Eastern Europe that starts with an S.
Spain.
Not Spain, not Sweden, not Sudan, not Switzerland, not Scotland. SL.
Slovenia.
Almost like Slovenia, yes. Slovakia, indeed. So this is the Fujara flute that comes from Slovakia. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. And sure enough, by the end of that week, the news of the gold hidden underneath the floorboards had reached the ears of the king. The farmer and his wife were summoned to appear before him. Now, what's this I hear, farmer, that you've been hiding gold away underneath your kitchen floorboards? Gold that should be mine. I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't heard of any gold. But your wife has been going around telling everybody about this. I'm sure she would not just make something like that up. So the farmer looks at the king. He says, Your Majesty, there's something you don't know about my wife. Please allow me. Dear wife, do come stand here, please. Wife comes up. Farmer turns to his wife and he goes, my dear, you say that you saw me putting gold under the kitchen floorboards. Can you remember when this was? She scratches her head. Yes, it was the night after it rained fish in the forest. Yes, Your Majesty. The next morning after it hidden the gold, it was raining fish in the forest. We went and picked up fish, and then we picked cakes and buns that had rained down as well, and then we caught the juiciest string of sausages in the river on the fishing line. The king stared at her. Mad as a March hare, dizzy as a goose. He was thinking of punishing them both for wasting his time, but he was in a good mood, and he said, okay, you may go home, farmer. You've done good work to take care of this poor woman, and I wish you well. But he did send 2 soldiers with him, just in case. But you know, that smart farmer, he'd moved the gold out of there and he'd hidden it somewhere far away by then. Now this tambourine comes from Egypt. Actually, this one was made in California, but originally they come from Egypt, and it's called a rek. A rek means skin in Arabic. And usually, actually, this drum has got a fish skin on it. But the fish is now an endangered species, so people tend to make it just with a plastic head now, or a goat skin. And this one's plastic. And yeah, this is quite an amazing tambourine. I'll play you a little bit of it.